So your work's been marked. How do you view, save and share your feedback from your coursework? Well, go to the Ellie page where you submitted the work, and if the work has been released, you should see the grade associated with that mark. Now I'm in marking view, so they have access to lots of different students, and also it's anonymously enabled, but you should just see your work here. And if it has the mark associated with it, then go ahead and click the work, and you should be taken to your page, which should be familiar with you. This is the work that you submitted as part of your coursework. The difference now being that you've got the grade viewable up here, but also you'll be able to view the feedback by expanding this box here of quick marks and feedback links. So you'll see when you click that, the bubbles appear on your work which are expandable. So if you click on those, you can see the first bit of feedback here that's marked by myself, and I've got a link on here to my office hours. So I'm encouraging you to come and see me in my office hours if you want to discuss the work in relation to the feedback and the marking criteria. So I guess that's the first tip, would be to, once you've digested this and you've looked at the grade and you've looked at the marking criteria and you want some further advice on how to improve or to make sense of your grade, then take this work and go and see your the person who's marked it, and their initials should be on the page. So you can go down through the work and you can expand the bubbles and read the criteria. These will have different levels of text, and you should notice here that this one's got a slightly different symbol associated with it. That's because it's actually referring to the marking rubric. So let's go ahead and click that, and you'll see that there are 5 different criteria, and these criteria are all listed down below. And in geography we have criteria relating to material down to recommendations for improvement. This is feedback criteria. So you should see for each of one of these there'll either be a comment in this box or there'll be a link to a quick mark, in this case relevance of material, and there it is there. You can expand that and you can see this relates to criteria 1. So yeah, there'll be either bubbles or there'll be written text in these boxes, and you should have one for each. So you view your feedback and you go through and you work your way down, reading all these bubbles and making sense of all the suggestions for improvements. And at the end, if you've submitted your submission sticker, which you should have attached at the end of your work, you can see how that relates to the criteria and the notched mark that you will have received. So what do you do next? How do you download and save this work and potentially share it? Let's save it as current view. So this would be your work with all that feedback associated with it. So it's downloaded as a PDF. Let's open that in a folder and let's save it somewhere so that we can go back to it and review our work. So I've created this directory here called feedback, and I'm going to save it in my reports folder. I'm going to give it a more sensible name, so I'm going to start with the year that I'm in and the grade that I received. That way, when I add more reports in, they'll be listed from year 1 to 2, 3, potentially 4, and we'll be able to see the grades, and so we can start to see improvement. And we can go and look back at that feedback and tips for how to improve and make sure we make the most of it, so we can feed forward into our next report, for example. So this is what the PDF of the feedback looks like. These bubbles are no longer clickable, but if you have a look at these, they're all either named or they're numbered. So marked by Damien Mansell, number 1 is there, for example. So we can scroll down to the end, past the submission sticker, we'll see the grade, 68 out of 100, and then we'll see each of these quick marks or comments marked by Damien Mansell, and then you can see that there's the URL and all the comments. And comment number 1, as well, you'll be able to recognise this criteria, which is part of the rubric criterion 1, and you can go down and see at the end what these criteria are referring to. So in this case, relevance to the material, question, or topic. So we saved our work. I'd encourage you then, when you have your review meetings with your personal tutor, should you want to discuss any of these in detail, then you can go ahead and send them that work as a PDF. Also, you'll see that I've created a directory for all the different types of assessment. So maybe for exams, you've spoken to your tutor and you've gone through and you've reflected on some of that feedback. You might want to put it in a Word document. So you can see here that I'm using the same file convention, give it a year, that I complete the work, grade, and you can see pretty clearly that I got 45% in fundamental geographies and 75 in a generic geo module. But yeah, this will really help you utilize that feedback and build on it, feed forward, and hopefully you'll be able to use it to develop your understanding throughout your degree, as well as understand the mark that you got for each assessment. Thanks very much.